everybody? Welcome back to Blacktop. I am your host, Timaira, and of course, every show I bring in a couple of friends. I have my friend CJ with me again. We are joined tonight by our special friend Zach, and of course, JP here as well. Hey guys.
What's
What's
going
going
on?
on?
What's going on?
So it is, of course, Monday, which means we are talking basketball, WNBA and NBA tonight. The first topic that we're going towards, of course, we've had some interesting games over the last couple of days. Of course, we're going into the play-in. For this episode, we actually had everybody fill out a bracket, kind of see what they were thinking, where we were going, and who we thought was kind of be playing for another ring here. So we'll pull those up, and I always say ladies first, but I'm gonna save mine for last. Zach is new, so we're gonna start with Zach.
Alrighty.
All right. That's fine. Let's go ahead and throw up here. Let's have a nice breakdown. I don't think you guys are ready for this.
1 second.
All right. So, as you can see here, I got obviously the Jazz coming back, taking care of that. Obviously, once Donovan Mitchell gets back to that team, they're going to be doing just fine. I think Luka Doncic is just one of the young superstars in the league. He can carry teams. We've seen him do it, and I think he's going to prove to continue to be a handful for that Clippers team. I don't know what's wrong with the Clippers, but they're a great regular season team, and they hit the postseason, and they hit the wall, and they just fall apart. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's kind of where I'm leaning right now. The Lakers will put it back together. LeBron will find a way to inspire that team. AD will get going. I think the Blazers are way underrated. Obviously, I think they're going to upset the Nuggets, but then again, as you see, I have Lakers, Mavs, meeting in the Western Conference. That's just based on what I just said. I think the Lakers are going to be obviously the team everyone thought they were going to be. That's why they're going to make that, return deep run, which this will probably be the hardest road LeBron will have taken to the finals if they get there. That's how I have that shaping up. Obviously, I think when it comes down to it, if we do get Mavs, Lakers, Doncic, LeBron, I think they'll find a way. I think LeBron will find a way to throw Luka off just enough. People don't understand that if you really get in this kid's head early in the game, you can really make a difference. But not enough people do that, and a lot of people mess with him and what he does, and they allow him to get going. And you saw what he did to the Clippers. I think you're going to see it again. Eastern Conference, sir. I don't know what happened there. My producer, he's failing me sometimes. No, I'm just kidding. I like the 76ers, but I think the Hawks and Trae Young have, in my opinion, put in their time. Trae's been getting better each season, and, hitting that big shot to kind of silence the Garden the other night, I think is one of many things to come. He actually had a very similar playoff debut to Derrick Rose, if I remember correctly. Very, very similar stat line. Winning those, winning the games when it matters, hitting the big shots. I think that's what Trae Young's been known to do. That's why I think they're going to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. The Bucks, I would say, we're going to get there, but they're going to run into the team I have winning it all, which obviously, Kyrie, James Harden, your boy Kevin Durant, I don't know. It's just going to happen. When you have three guys combined scoring 82 points a game in their debut, it's going to be hard enough to stop that. If you have three guys dropping 82, what more do you really need from the rest of your team? Besides to show up and play some defense, maybe rebound the ball. Talk about taking off all the pressure. They're just taking off all the pressure. We're saying, guys, we're going to go get all the buckets. We're going to score. We'll do everything else. You guys take care of the other little things for us. We'll be fine. And that's what happened so far to Boston. Obviously, they don't have Jaylen Brown, but that's just sometimes how it falls. So, as we move things along, like I said, I like the Hawks. I like what they do. I like what they're doing. I love Trae Young. great young talent, but I think that he's only going to be able to carry him so far when you're fighting the big three. I think that big three is going to end up going and playing the Lakers, and I think Kevin Durant will get the better of LeBron yet again. And that's just my take. He'll be the reason why they win it. I think that's what it'll boil down to. He'll end up carrying Kyrie and helping Harden, get the glory that he could never find a way to get to. So that's where I'm at. I'm curious to see what everyone thinks of what I got going on, but I just think this Nets team, as they continue to play together in the postseason, they're only going to get better, and that's why I think they're going to be the unstoppable trio.
Yeah, I would comment on how I think your bracket's going to shake out, but I'll save mine to the end. What about you, Jake? What you got going?
I don't know. It was kind of crazy what was going on. I actually had my son do this. No, I'm kidding. This is my job. My thoughts are big, so I figured I'd use big letters.
Yeah.
Plus I wanted to make sure that we were helping all of our viewers. If there's anyone who is visually impaired, they can probably see it. So I'm going to go with it like this. We're going to make it quick and to the point. I think we're going to see the Jazz and the Clippers. I think the Jazz get the better of the Clippers, who for some reason just can't get past themselves. That's the one team on this entire list that can't get past themselves. They have the talent to be a championship team, but just trip on their own shoes. Portland is Portland. I mean, it's Dame time all the time. I don't think I need to say much more than that. The Suns over the Lakers. I think this is the one where I got questioned. And, this is why. Grandpa Braun is only going to be able to bail him out so much, right? You got to have other people step up. The Suns are ready. This is the Suns' moment to finally be like, we're here. We're ready to go. We're going to do this. They're going to knock out the defending champion because, in my opinion, the defending champion shouldn't even be in the playoffs. They played like crap towards the end of the season. Injuries or not, it's a team sport. I think the Suns and Portland Trailblazers will go at it. The Suns will get the best of them just for the simple fact of the depth. The talent is just there, and they can do what Portland can do just a little bit better. I just think the Jazz, when you get Donovan Mitchell back, he's arguably a top 5 player in the league. He makes that Jazz team all that much better. I think the Jazz go back to the finals for the first time since 98, I believe. That's the last time they were there. And then we're going to jump over to the East. The 76ers have been a revelation of sorts because of Doc Rivers being able to unlock the puzzle, which is Embiid, which the only other time we ever saw that happen was in college at Kansas. I think that's going to carry them all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. The Nets are going to take care of business against Boston just for the fact when you don't have – this is the one that I really wanted. If Jaylen Brown's there, I think the Boston Celtics take the Nets down, and here's why. Because with those three, you can let one of them have all day. And what I would do is say, Katie, have fun, man. You want to score 70? Go ahead and score 70. Kyrie is not going to get anything, and neither is James Harden. If you have the right team, you can take care of business against them, and I think that's the big thing. You go then to the Bucks. I think the Bucks are going to take care of business. They'll be fine. When you have Giannis, you'll be fine. Get to the Bucks and the 76ers, and I just don't think Embiid's going to have anything for Giannis personally, and I think you take Embiid away from the 76ers, and then they'll fail. I think this is the one opportunity that the Bucks have to completely get back to the finals. I'm going to go with the Bucks winning it this year just because of Giannis maybe being the reason why that team wants to play a little bit harder.
I love to see it. And I can say this, out of seeing your bracket, I would love to see the Bucks win it all. Being here in Wisconsin, I think it would be great to kind of see what the state does to kind of rally around them. So we'll see how that goes.
There's a very unorthodox finals series there.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting.
As the Bucks. Very interesting.
Why not? I mean, come on. I mean,
Interesting.
think about it. Besides the teams, you have Giannis, you have Donovan Mitchell, you have some great stars for the NBA to basically start to propose to us because LeBron's coming to the end. They're going to have to start finding the next people to carry that torch.
Exactly.
All right, CJ, what say you?
What say I? Here's my bracket that I created amongst myself. You know, what's funny is
You
that I'm
know,
gonna start with the East.
that's
Um,
fancy. I just got to say, that
Right?
was
His is
really
so
pretty.
neat and tiny.
Pretty.
I took my time with this. With me being all tech savvy or whatnot.
I don't know
But
what you're talking about, CJ.
I'm going to start with the Eastern Conference, and of course, you guys see me being a Boston fan. You don't see Boston up here winning the net series, right?
Right.
It's because just like what Jake said, without Jalen Brown, it's just hard to see that Boston can take the Nets, to 7 games. So I do think the Nets will come on top, for that one sole reason, and then they go on to face the Bucks. Um, then on the top here, on the top, these other four teams up top, the 76ers versus the Wizards. I don't really need to say much about that. The 76ers have just been dominant. It's the reason why they're the number one seed. And the Washington has talent, but I don't think that they have that talent to knock off the 76ers. This is why they will go forward. And then, of course, the Knicks and the Hawks. A lot of people say that the Knicks that the Knicks is going to go down by the Hawks, but I don't see that happening. I think the Knicks has the talent to knock out the Hawks and they can move forward. The next series is going to be very interesting with the Knicks and 76ers. I just think that the 76ers, again, they just have been dominant, firing on all cylinders, and I don't think that they're going to allow the Knicks to come in and take them out of the championship run. Um, with the Bucks, I think that the Bucks is just an all-around good team, and they have more than just the big three. They have an actual team, and not just a team, but a team full of talent. And I think that is going to be the upper hand that they have against the Nets during the 7 games. They're going to knock the Nets off. They're going to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, in the 76ers and Bucks game, this was very hard for me to choose from. This is me going by which player can outshine the next one. And I think that Giannis is going to be the most dominant player in that series. Yeah, if that series happen, I think he's going to be more dominant, more agile, more effective in points versus Embiid in the 76ers company. Like I said, just the all-around talent that the Bucks have. I just think that, that um, the 76ers just doesn't have that slight advantage over the Bucks. So that's who I have, as the East winners, and then I'm gonna move on to the West. Now, Jazz and Grizz series, I think the Jazz takes that one easily. The Mavs and Clippers. Ooh, I gotta go with Luka Doncic. I think that Mavs team is very interesting and is very interested for the future, with Luka Doncic being the center of that gravity over there. Um, yeah, you got the Blazers. I love Dame Time. I love Dame Time. Of course, I have them beating the Nuggets. But don't count the Nuggets out. Don't count the Nuggets out so easily. But I just think that the Blazers right now, they know where they're headed. They know what they want, and I think they're going to go and grab it against the Nuggets. And then Lakers and Suns, Grandpa Braun. Like people said, I was crazy for choosing the Suns over the Lakers in the series, and this is what I say: the Suns is not just the Suns who barely made it into playoffs. This is a team that took their time to build what they have around such a talented player, and that is Devin Booker. And I think that the talent that they have, the young guys, not just talent, the bunch of young guys who's really hungry, who the Lakers had about a year ago. A bunch of young guys who was hungry and has a goal at the end. The Suns have it. They have the momentum. They have the mentality. They're going to take it to the finals. They're going to beat the Mavs. And then the series is going to be Suns and Bucks. and I don't have a winner yet for the Suns of Bucks, so I can't really choose that right now. But if I had to go, it would be the Bucks to win the series.
You have a very interesting bracket as well, and I agree with a lot of it. It looks like, like I said, you took your time with this. Not only is it pretty, but it makes sense. That it is a possibility to see the Suns and the Bucks would be a very interesting finals. And I'm gonna go for mine unless anybody has any comments on CJ's.
Oh no,
Let's
let's
hit it.
go. Let's
Let's hit
go.
it running.
Oh man! All right, here we go. So this was mine. I did not.
Very neat.
Yeah, very neat. Did not go for any color. Just worried about the font. So I'm gonna start over here with the Jazz and the Clippers. Um, Easily said the Jazz. And I'm gonna kind of just, you guys have kind of already covered everything that I was gonna say, so I'm not gonna touch too much on mine except for my endings here. So then we get Jazz, Lakers. I think the Trailblazers. I love Dame Time too. I just think that they will fall just a tad short to LeBum and the Lakers, and I say that because I think we have seen that LeBron has had so much leniency in kind of how he is in the NBA, and because of who he is, he gets some privileges, whether they're fair or not. There are some privileges to being LeBron James, and we have seen that in him not having to sit for violating the COVID policies that the NBA has. We've seen that really with just his blatant flopping, that he can pull it off. You could watch his plays back in slow-mo and see that there is absolutely nothing that happens to him that would cause need for him to react the way that he does, and he's still gonna get the foul. He's still gonna lay on that ground and act like his eyeball is about to fall out or his shoulder has been ripped from the socket.
So true.
No other reason than LeBron James are the Lakers going to beat the Trailblazers and make it all the way to the finals here. Then I have the 79ers and the Knicks. I think that the Knicks, have a bit of no, I'm sorry. I don't even know why I have that right there. But I have the 76ers and Washington. I just don't think that they're going to be able to get it done. Then we have let's see. Yeah.
Start it. Hashtag Grandpa Braun is started here.
Yeah, I don't know. I call him LeBum, and I said this. I love LeBron James, the man behind the basketball player. I think he's a great person. But when it comes to basketball, regardless of how good of a basketball player he is, the flopping and just kind of the mentality that's around him, that you can't touch me and that types of. I don't like that in the basketball player. If you're here to play the game of basketball, take the little scratch to the eyeball, get up. You're going to get bumped in the shoulder sometimes. Get up.
Maybe that's what's helped him continue his longevity, not having those huge hits saves his health. I can think of a player in the NFL that makes me think of that as Frank Gore. He never took a big hit, always kept, his body healthy. So I think there's something to it. Tom Brady, I heard you. There's another one. Those top guys learn how to take care of their body, whether it's fun to watch or agreeable. We can talk about that all day.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think there's just some guys who they've definitely learned how to fake it to kind of preserve, I guess, what they have going. Right, extend his career a little bit more. I think if LeBron and the Lakers were to win this, would I say that LeBron was going to hang it up this year? Probably not. I think we might get a year or two more out of him, and then he might finally take a seat. But I agree that the Lakers are going to have to figure it out here because they're going to need more than LeBron to win against these Nets that I have them playing against. I don't see the Lakers actually winning because, like I said, they need more than LeBron. Who else do they have? AD maybe, but who's all the people that they need to step up. They just don't have it. So I don't see them beating the Nets. So I do have the Nets winning it all this year.
Yeah, the very interesting part about this whole playoff, right, is that each one of these teams has a certain player that makes a big impact on how the game is played.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to chalk up to the biggest impact on injury, and this COVID protocol is still on the rise. This is one thing that a lot of people still have to remember, that COVID is still on the rise. in that you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen at this point. But I'm all stoked for it. I see some teams here that isn't that you don't usually see with these high seeds. The Suns, you got the Knicks there. I mean, please stop me. The Nets, of course they got Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. They didn't stack their team, but look at the Jazz. The Jazz being the number one seed. When have you ever seen that? So this playoffs is definitely going to be very interesting, and I'm all for it right now.
Yeah, I'll say this with the Nets. I think it'll really depend on Kevin Durant here. I don't see the Nets without Kyrie Irving or without Kevin Durant be able to pull it off. I think that Kyrie Irving needs to think about whether he wants to play, whether he can. I'm not going to say he needs to, whether he can continue to play the game of basketball with kind of everything he's had going on this season. I think he really needs to consider if basketball is still for him, but KD, yeah, we could easily see Jake's bracket, being this kind of top contender or the way things shake out if just one of these players gets sick or gets hurt, and we could easily see the Jazz and the Bucks. So
I would love it, and I would let everybody hear it in big old letters, baby.
of course you would. We would support you through it too. We would be bandwagon fans.
I love it. Thanks, guys. I love the support.
So let me ask this: how do you guys feel about the Jazz benching Donovan Mitchell?
Poop. That's what I think about it.
What do you mean? Like, what are you asking?
So was he out in the first game, or was he cleared to play the first game?
So he was cleared.
Yeah,
he was cleared.
And then they pulled him right before the game.
Yeah.
And they lost that game, correct? Or did they win that game?
Oh, they lost. The last Bogdanovich missed the last second game tying winning 3 whatever.
So here's the question: Was that a bad decision on the coach, or was it all about preservation?
Well, let me ask it. Wouldn't that be that's a front office move when you have it according to your doctors? That's the front office or your GM or people above your coach that are stepping in saying this guy is not playing. So that's when you need to look at the Jazz's front office and say, do you guys want to win or do you want to think about it?
Yeah, I'm very big on, I'm saying, if you can play, then play, right? Same thing with LeBron last year when he sat out for those odd number of games, I'm saying? But if you can play, just play, but it's one of those things where do you want to risk it all for this one game or do you want to preserve yourself for the next 6 games to come? And I don't know. I just hope that with them losing the first game, I just hope that Donovan Mitchell is set to come back in game 2, and I just hope that they don't fall any more short than this one game that they have down.
Yeah, I did see that he would be available for game 2, and I think all these teams and all these coaches and everybody above them really needs to, think about game 1 really sets the tone a lot of the time for the entire series. So the team that generally wins that first game continues that momentum into the second game. And, if you're down 2, coming back from 2 is tough. So, I'm excited to see him available for game 2. And I think that was a big whoops on whoever's end, whoever it was, deserved the donkey of the day, as Charlamagne would say. So.
Love it.
So let's talk about Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks breaking the record for NBA debut. First NBA debut, and he set a record for, I believe, points made. He had 29 points. The previous record was held by Marc Gasol, who had 24 points in 2011 at San Antonio.
Wow.
So, Dylan Brooks,
Impressive.
Yeah, very impressive. Very impressive. Very impressive.
Marc Gasol's been around for a while, so if that has anything, if there translates there, maybe you see a long career now.
Yeah, definitely. This is for the Grizzlies. Um, so the question is, was the decision to bench Donovan Mitchell was okay and did that one shot, but you still should have had Donovan Mitchell on the floor. I say he should have still been on the floor regardless. I think that Dylan Brooks would have still could have still had that same impact. So this only goes to see how this series can go.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think it would have came down to one bucket or a couple of points if he would have been in. So, like I said,
Agreed.
donkey of the day goes to whoever made that decision.
Yeah, definitely set him up for failure. That's for sure.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of young guys who get in their first playoff debut this season. Um, Trey Young being one of them. You
Yep.
know, it was his debut. He dropped what 30, 32, 30, 35. I think
Oh,
32 points. I think he dropped 32 points. He scored 13 in the fourth quarter, 10 assists, and he hit a game-winning floater with 0.9 seconds left on the clock.
It was pretty awesome.
So, great debut for Trey Young. And listen, like I said, I'm so excited for this NBA playoffs. There's a lot of teams that you normally don't see in the playoffs that is just making moves and just playing with just every last energy and with all their heart. So
it's good
this
for
is
viewership.
yeah, that too. This is the most that I've been excited for the NBA playoffs in a while. So I'm all for it.
Agreed. And my team is not playing.
It happens.
Oh,
It
yeah,
happens.
It happens a
it does
lot.
happen.
A lot. As a
Yeah.
Bulls fan, like a lot.
Yeah, but you guys had the '90s.
We're not going
All right, guys, we're gonna move on here. We have another topic to talk about tonight. Of course, we're moving on to the WNBA, and we're talking about the Connecticut Suns. Sorry, and their start to the season. They have gone 5-0. They've won all 5 of those games by or with 70 points or more. I'll say that. So the last game that they played, I believe, was what they won it by like 6 or 7, 65 to
Yep.
72 against the Aces. And I was actually really happy that we were going to talk about them tonight because it's going to be like our hot topic of right now for this episode. Their coach during the game decided that he felt that a foul should have been called against one of the players for the Aces against a lovely Liz Cambage, who is notably tall and sizably large to be a basketball player, uh, and made the comment that because of her height and because of her weight, in which he just assumed she was a 300-pound pluser, uh, that a foul should have been called, and those kind of things during a basketball game should be taken into consideration, I guess, because smaller players against bigger players. But you signed up for this game, right? So Liz decided to clap back this morning when she found out. I guess she found out, during the game, maybe heard about it. Yeah, had her own clap back and just said, hey, little guy, I believe is what she called the coach here. Uh, said, hey, little guy, I'm actually, 235 or so pounds. And I believe she said she's what, 6'8", maybe? Yeah, 6'8", 235. And basically that she could, tear him up any day, and that she's very proud of being her size. It's clearly worked in her favor to be 6'8", because she's playing in the WNBA. How do we feel about coaches? I mean, I know in the NBA, you kind of just wear that stuff on your sleeve, and I think even in women's sports, most of the time you hear comments like that. You wear that stuff on your sleeve. You hear it, you kind of brush it off. The coach came out with an apology. He said, "Hey, it was kind of a heat of the moment thing. I'm sorry that I said it, and I didn't mean anything by it." But what say we about coaches that kind of make these comments against players? We're talking specifically about the WNBA right now. I guess that could apply to the NBA. Shaq was kind of beat up and bruised around. He personally didn't care.
Right.
But what say we about these coaches who kind of take things a little beyond, the normal tone of a basketball game?
I think the best way to explain it is like when you meet a person, you always meet the representative. and then eventually they get comfortable, and then you meet the real them. I think what you get in those moments is the real them. Then after they think about it, then they bring the representative back out to save face. I just think a lot of these guys shouldn't be coaches. Personally, I mean, if they're worried about things that don't even matter to the game, what are you really doing? How are you really helping, create growth in a league that needs to continue to have growth? It's like there's just no place for that, in my opinion. Like, act up. You're a leader. Act like one.
Yeah, I mean, it's hurtful. It shouldn't have been said. And I'm glad that the WNBA is holding him accountable for what he said. This is a lesson, that is learned that in the WNBA they're not taking there's no tolerance for any language or any type of comments like that. Because you don't hear nobody in the NBA saying, "Oh, Shaq should get a foul because he's 300 plus pounds and 7 feet." As a foul should be called on. So to say that she's only 6'8", by the way, she's only 6'8", and what 230.
235, yeah.
Yeah, it should have been a comment like that made, and there was a lot of aggression with that, and I'm glad that he's held accountable. Coaches like that should not be coaching.
So I'm gonna throw the spin at you. I guess my question about the whole situation is, was he just saying it in the context of she's a big person, she should be fouling people, or was there a specific play that he wasn't happy about that he felt like the player on his team basically like got annihilated and they should have got a foul? Like that
Yeah,
would make more sense.
I believe it was the later that there was a play specifically that I guess happened in front of him and in front of a ref that he felt like, hey, you saw this happen. This should have been a foul because, like, not necessarily
Right.
implying that she did anything, but just due to the fact that she was such a big person and his
See
player
that
was smaller.
the verbiage is terrible. Like if that's how you're going to complain about something, then just don't complain at all. That's not how you approach a situation like that. Definitely, you're not trying to attack a player. It needs to be, hey, my player just got like harassed and you missed it. Like, what's going on there? Like, there's a fine line in basketball and how you approach things and how you talk about things. And if you don't do it appropriately, you'll be looking like a fool, like this guy is right now.
Yeah, for sure. I think of it from my own perspective. I was like 5'5" already in the 5th grade and probably a good 150 pounds, like so I was the average size of an adult, just walking around my elementary school. And I was the tallest girl and the tallest person. So I was taller than every boy included. And playing the game myself, I was subjected to that, and even playing softball, you step up to the plate, and the bigger the girl. By the time I got to high school, I was 5'9". By my senior year, I was pushing 5'10", 5'11". And they see that, and everybody's like, oh, in softball it's a little different. Everybody's just gonna be like, all right, back up, back up. But in basketball, coaches really look for that. They're like, hey, AAU, you got to carry around your birth certificate and get it to your coach. Make sure they have a copy because you're going to get kids who are and coaches who are like, she should not be playing on this team. And so you gotta kind of roll with those punches. So I think coming from a player's perspective, I think those are things you gotta roll. I don't necessarily think I would have gone as far as she did and like called out the coach, because everybody makes mistakes. If it was something that I felt like he was doing habitually and like over and over, like there were enough people to be like, this is kind of the dude he is. Maybe I would have kind of put him on blast after one incident.
Right.
Like, I get your feelings are hurt. So, everybody's doing things in the spare of the moment. But I am happy that the WNBA is holding them accountable and saying, hey, play the game. Don't worry about the size of the person. If your girl signed up,
Yes.
she's getting paid to play this. She's going to be okay.
Yep,
she didn't hit the ground. She didn't, break anything. She just got a nice little bump to her. And if she falls out of bounds, it's okay. So,
life will go on.
yeah, life will go on. You're gonna
Uh,
get bumped. That's the same thing like I was saying about LeBron. You're gonna get bumped. It's okay.
Yep.
I mean, it's just one of those things where like when you look at the clip or the way they're talking about it, it's like when it happened, he said, "Well, come on, I mean, she's 300 pounds."
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things. I get that it was taken out of context, but this is where the lesson is learned. There's a time and place for everything,
Mm-hmm.
and that was just at the wrong time, and especially what we're dealing with in today's age with how things are being taken with sports and the social life and things like that. It's just
Hmm.
something that, as a professional coach, you have to just have an alert for those things. And he apologized, but I mean, what was said. Liz Cambridge, I think that she could have handled it a little better, but I'm not mad at the way she responded at all. I mean, if you want to be honest, because if it was my daughter, if I heard a PB coach saying that about my daughter, I would have taken an offense as a parent. So as her being a grown woman, I understand where she was coming from.
No, and that's my thing. I don't necessarily mind it. I think coming from like a professional aspect, I'm saying, hey, maybe don't do it. But you're absolutely right. If it's my kid, if my kid's out there, suiting up, and granted he's a boy, but I'm hopping benches, I'm jumping pews. You wanna my child? No, and that's the same thing. That's how I am with my AAU girls. Like I'm like, my AAU girl, you're talking about my girl. Like we will go there. So I'm not mad at it. I don't. I saw a comment that said, "Could we call it discrimination?" Now, I don't necessarily would say I would call it discrimination. I think that he just had a bad moment. He had a bad judgment call, and you're right, CJ. I think he might have shown some true colors there. Maybe seeing what he really has to say about some of these girls, but. I agree with Jake too that we're in a time where we're really trying to, I don't want to say save, but save WNBA basketball. We want to see WNBA basketball broadcast and supported like we see the NBA, and same thing with the NCAA. And so we got to be sensitive about what we're saying, and if that's broadcasted on live TV, we're trying to get young girls. I'm trying to get my AAU girls to watch those games.
Right.
So what do I say to my 5'9", 14-year-old AAU girl who's like, I want to play in the WNBA? She's like, am I gonna hear that? And that might
Right.
discourage somebody from playing. And granted, that shouldn't be the only thing. You got to have a little bit of tough skin to go into these professions, but you got to, as a coach, you're getting paid to have some common sense, and so you need to be able to display that during the game, and just
Yep.
at all times. It's not a necessary comment to make, whether she was 300 pounds or not. Your girl got bumped, and it's okay.
Yeah. I
But
love
another,
it.
but another news, I do want to throw this out here, is that the New York Liberty have waived 9-year veteran um, Laisha Clarendon. She been on. She been she was actually the first openly non-binary and transgender player in WNBA history, who uses multiple pronouns, and started and playing in 19 of 22 games for the Liberty in 2020, and 11.5 points per game was a career high. So, they they she got waived. Clarendon got waived on the before the weekend happened, and that pretty much hit the news as well. With being the first non-binary transgender um, ever in the WNBA.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I will say I knew. I don't think I really knew kind of like how in depth, or how well she played for that team. But that's news to hear. I don't want to, that's murky water to step in. I don't necessarily know. Maybe it was. I mean, 9 seasons in the WNBA is a long time, so maybe there was some behind the scenes stuff going on. I would hope that they waived her for the right reasons, and if
Yep.
not, I'm sure we will hear about that.
Oh yeah.
Oh
With
yeah,
everything being recorded and people having a platform, it's definitely not the time to let your bad half fall out.
Yeah, we're in a time right now. I don't think anybody wants to be responsible for making a decision like that wasn't a sound one. So I'm really hoping that they let her go for the right reasons, and then I'm hoping that if she still is a baller the way I'm sure she was and has been, that somebody else picks her up and that she continues to play. So.
Agreed.
Well, that's all we had tonight. We really wanted to spend a majority of our time talking about the play-in and kind of seeing where everybody was thinking, who we think is taking it all. If it happens for Jake, we are absolutely happy. We're gonna be bandwagon fans, but until then, we're going Lakers and Nets, and
Oh.
and we'll
Do
see
we
how
really
that.
want to watch that again though? Like I
No.
watched that when I was a
3-5,
kid.
3-5.
Like, I watched that. That was man.
You
Like
said
that was just
in 5 games. I don't know
no.
about in
He said
5.
3-5, 3-5.
Okay, I was about to say.
Yeah,
In
he's over
5.
there.
You know, I'm very
he's-
hyped about the Suns and Bucks finals, though.
CJ.
You know,
See
I
right
just.
here. 3-5, 3-5.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we get it. Okay.
He's number 6 now, but it's okay.
Honestly, I just think there's going to be a lot of interesting things that'll happen, but I feel like the upper seeds in these brackets will make. They're just going to take care of business. They've been the top seeds for reasons. I just don't think we see a lot of these lower seeds make as much noise as we think they will.
Yeah, like we said, all teams are one bad play or one injury or one cough or COVID test away from an oopsie season. So
Unless you're LeBron.
True.
yeah,
If you're Zach LaVine and the Bulls, you're done.
done.
What was that, like 8 games, 10 games? He didn't even see the court. We got pushed out of the playoffs. No. We have LeBron. Oh, man, he'd have been playing.
Yeah, they're
every
like,
day.
the exposure wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad.
I want to make one more update. Is that for one, I just want to say this. I am glad that we are giving the WNBA the push that it needs. With that being said, Simone Augustus retires after 16 years in the WNBA.
16. Congratulations to her. That's a career. Yeah, that's a career.
And she accepted the coaching job with the Sparks.
Nice.
Oh, you're right. She did accept. See, perfect.
See?
You get to retire and stay around.
Right.
Exactly, right?
Utilize that knowledge.
Day made.
You said what?
That's like a day made right there.
Yeah, exactly. You get to retire. You get to retire with the team that you play with and accept the coaching job right afterwards. So you don't have to sit and let the retirement soak in right back into it.
Right. It's perfect. What better way to end your career than to be able to get back and Ronald, you forgot somebody, but hey to you too.
Hey, Queen.
Kings and Queen.
Yeah,
Thank you for tuning in, though.
Yeah, thanks for coming. But yeah, no, that's a great way to end your career is to say, hey, I'm actually not gonna be out here practicing with y'all, but guess what I will do? Coach you. So
yeah, you gotta listen to me. I'm the one who wears the suits now, okay?
Right. That's a perfect way to end your season. Yeah, it really is. Congratulations to her. That's awesome. So as always, yeah, I had fun with you guys. We always have fun when we get to hang out on Monday nights. And Zach, welcome. This was your first one, but you've been hanging around with us. We didn't get I'm gonna say this. We have adopted a child. There's a child that comes around these shows. He has not showed his face tonight. I do believe that he may be taking his afternoon nap, and that is okay.
Or our producer is actually doing what he was instructed to do.
Yeah, I don't know. Did we get a new producer? Because he hasn't popped up in here either. I don't know.
You know what? I think he actually took a nap. So yeah, it's great. It's great. But do you guys have any final thoughts before we actually end this show?
Giannis is finally going to fulfill the Black Mamba's final detail episode that he did when he said as soon as Giannis unlocks the inner monster in him, no one's going to be able to stop him. I think he finds it, and the Bucks bring home the title. I'm just going to leave it right there.
Ooh.
I'm waiting for it. Let him come on and bring a title on home, and the Milwaukee Bucks will appreciate him for it. So
say that.
I would. Yeah, I am 90 minutes away from Milwaukee. I'm a hop, skip, and a jump.
Right. So see, there you go.
No. It's gonna be Kevin Durant getting his 3rd ring. It's what's gonna happen. He's gonna show James Harden what it takes to actually win a championship. And he's gonna be like, hey, remember those scoring titles you got? That doesn't mean nothing no more. Here's the ring that you really wanted.
Yeah, that's for sure. Everybody wants a ring. I will say this. I'm excited to kind of get back as these players are kind of phasing out LeBron and I think KD and Kyrie, hopefully, and these older guys that we've had for a while that kind of team hop to go get rings. I'm excited to hopefully see that come to an end.
Yes.
It's with the young guys that we have now. It seems like they really want to stay with the teams where they are at, and they want to build there. So I'm excited to kind of see that return to the NBA. I don't necessarily like all the team hopping. I need a ring before I retire, so let me go here and here and here and here and here. Like,
Oh
if you can't win one and build with the team you got, I don't necessarily think you're deserving of a ring. So I'm excited to see that return to the WNBA and for some of these names that we're tired of hearing about to get out.
Bye.
Yeah. So as always, we had a great time. Thanks for hanging out with me here at the
Yes.
Blacktop.
Guys, don't go nowhere. 15 minutes. You guys can stay here with us, and we will also be live again.
Sleeping in the bird's nest.
Sleeping in the bird's nest. So definitely stay tuned, guys. The bird's nest will be going live at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central, where we will be talking about all sports. We got some actually good ones for you. Highlighting the NFL with Julio Jones and Aaron Rodgers.
Oh,
Timaira,
goodness.
you're definitely welcome to be a guest as well if you would like.
We got to hear that Aaron Rodgers opinion. I mean, we got to hear it. Brutal
Let
take,
me tell
let's
you
be
something.
honest.
As much as this is the Blacktop, I need to see Aaron Rodgers on the Blacktop so I can punch him because he is getting on my
I love
nerves.
it.
Hit list.
I'm
Hit
done
list.
Yeah, I'm done with him. He can get on out of here. Get us a quarterback who wants to be here. Get out. Goodbye. You get one shot, and he had it. Get out.
Yep. That's true.
Yeah. That's all I got for you guys. We had fun.
Yeah.
Catch us next Monday. Of course, stay around. Like the guy said, they'll be live in a hot minute here. So, as always, we thank you for tuning in with us. We hope that you have a great night and stay safe. We'll see you next Monday.